Hi there, Mark Carlson here. So this video, how can you reliably connect with God? And of course, when we can connect with God, we understand what is next. We understand what we have to do. We understand when we need to move and go forward and take action, and we understand when we need to stop. We also are able to rest in a place that is a rock for us eternally, right? So when we're connected to God, we're connected to our essential truth. And what I mean by God is that ever-present, loving, and infinitely intelligent source that is forever and always and everywhere. And we are absolutely connected to it. So how can we be consciously connected to it is the purpose of this video. And it's really simple. It's not particularly easy to do all the time straight away, but it's simple to understand. We've just got to really look at where is God and when is God. So God is everywhere, but from my point of view, there's only wherever I am ever going on, right? So it's always me, and it's always wherever I am. I can't help that. It's always that. So God, from my point of view, is only ever happening wherever I am, because that's all I ever get to experience. I can imagine everything else everywhere, but I'm only ever where I am. So from my point of view, God is always happening where I am. That's the case, the same for all of us. And when is God happening? Of course, cliche to the max, but there's only this moment. So to connect to that God force, I've got to learn to bring my attention to where the God force is. The God force isn't here, the God force is here. This place is where I can imagine future and past. This place, in my heart I'm pointing to, is where life is happening all the time. This is an illusion, this is reality. So I must learn to bring my attention to the moment regularly so that I can experience the God force. And God, that God force, is always communicating with me, always, because I'm always connected to it. It's just that when I put my attention in my thinking stuff, I can't experience what God is trying to tell me. Now, if it's true that God is everything, then God's not going to show up as a being and say, "Hi, I'm God, and this is what you need to do next." And if that did happen, I'm sure you wouldn't believe it anyway. But God is speaking to us in every single area of reality, including other people. So if you listen to people, that means you give your attention to them. That's what listening really is. You don't just wait so that you can say something. You're not thinking about something else as they're speaking so that you can say something. When you listen, you give them your presence. Now, when you listen to a person or you listen to life, means you give your attention or the present consciousness to life, to what's going on right now. Then life comes back and communicates and tells us clearly what's right, what's blocked, what's right for us, what's open, what's closed, what the way forward is, what the dance is. That's how God talks to us. God's talking all the time to us. But we have to be where she is, and she is always happening right now. And so when I bring my presence and I listen, that means bringing my attention to what's actually happening around where my feet are, right? Because that's the only truth, really. Where my feet are is what's actually happening. I'm always where my feet are. My attention is often in places that are not where my feet are. But when I bring my attention to where my feet are, I'm experiencing the truth. And this is where God is. So if I bring my attention to where my feet are, if I listen to the moment I find myself in, or in other words, I bring my attention and focus on what am I actually seeing? What am I actually hearing? What am I actually tasting? What am I actually smelling? Now, we use our 5 senses that we know of in this physical realm, but what happens when you do that is you initiate other senses. When you bring your attention and you initiate your 5 senses that you have here, then you open the door to other senses, and God will communicate with you, not just from this material world, but from another formless world. And that's magic. And it's accessible to us all of the time. But we must learn to be where we are so that God can communicate to us. Actually, that's not true. So that we can hear how God is communicating, because she's always communicating to us. Every second of every moment, I need to be here so I can hear her. Have an absolutely fantastic day when you watch this, and I look forward to talking to you again next time. Thank you so much.